Our 2024 Jeep Rubicon is finished in anvil gray, and we call it Vilan, a name we came up with simply by rearranging the letters in anvil. Today we walk you through every modification we've made to Vilan, tell you what it is, why we did it, and exactly how much it cost. Over $30,000 in the aggregate. This is our second Jeep build, and we learned a lot from the mistakes we made with our first one. With Vilan, we spent more wisely, made smarter choices, and have absolutely no regret. That wasn't the case the first time around, and today we're sharing what we've learned so you don't make the same mistakes we did. We'll also tell you the most important question you need to ask before building your Jeep and give you a great tip on how to choose the right shop to get the work done, because a good build starts with a good plan and the right people. And stick around, because you'll probably be surprised by what turned out to be our most expensive modification. One that added zero capability, but that we couldn't live without. The biggest lesson we've learned? Every Jeep build has a sweet spot. If you miss it, you'll either underbuild and your Jeep won't be capable enough, likely forcing you to replace perfectly good parts later on. Or overbuild, and you'll spend money on parts you'll never fully use. In the Jeep world, capability costs money. The more capability you want, the more you'll have to spend. So the smartest move is to build your Jeep for how you'll actually use it. Building a mall crawler or pavement princess, keeping it stock, or modding it for looks is totally fine. But we built Vilan for off-roading, plain and simple. He only gets to the road to get to the trail. Now it's time to introduce you to Vilan, our off-road warrior, up close and personal. It is east of Cape... There's a bug on the lens. Good morning. We're Jim and Fran. We are in the St. Clair area, OHV area. It is east of Cave Creek, Arizona, near where we live. It is deserted as usual. We've done a couple of videos on this area, and we'll post them below because it's a wonderful area to come out.
Beautiful.
Absolutely gorgeous. But we're not here to explore, we're here to explain. We have had our 24 Rubicon for a little over a year, and it's taken us most of that time to modify it and build it up. So we're now going to tell you what we did, why we did it, what it cost. This was our second Jeep build. We made a lot of mistakes in our first Jeep build, but we rectified almost all of them. There are no guarantees in life other than this one. If you watch this video, you will save money, you will avoid at least some of the mistakes we made, maybe all of them, and we made a lot of them, and you will have no or fewer regrets. We had some regrets with our 23 build. We have no regrets with our 24 build. So let's get at it. We are going to start in a little bit of an unusual place. We're going to start with the differential cover. We chose red. We didn't know when we built our first Jeep out that red was available. We got black. So something we learned is we wanted red, and we got red. Why do I start here? Well, the differential cover, of course, covers the differential. The differential is what contains your gears. This illustrates the point that you really need to consider what you're going to use your Jeep for before you buy it. So if you're going to use it for off-roading, you have to have an idea of what kind of trails. Are we going to do forest roads? Are we going to just do easy fire roads? Are we going to do easy trails that aren't quite roads? Are you going to do moderate trails, or do you want to do something difficult? The mistake we made initially is we didn't really consider that. We thought we were going to do kind of easy, moderate roads to the extent that we thought about anything. And it turns out after we got the Jeep, we wanted to do difficult stuff. Why was that a problem? Well, we had 35s on our first Jeep, which were better than the 33s, but our gearing was 4.10, 410 gearing. And we wanted 37s, which really wouldn't go with that. So we would have had to have it re-geared. That was looking at like $3,000. So we didn't want to do that, but we wanted 37s. When we bought Anvil, we made sure we got a Jeep with 456 gearing from the factory. Wasn't so easy to find, but we did find it, and it made all the difference in the world. What did it cost, Fran?
$360 for the differential covers.
Okay, front and rear.
Front and rear.
Not the most expensive thing, and we love the red. The wheels are Dirty Life wheels, 17 by 9. And why did we get those? Well, we didn't know anything about wheels. We relied on the shop that we engaged to do the build, which brings up a second point. Really an important question, maybe the second most important question that you have to ask is who's going to do the build? Because you got to have the right people. We went to one shop that wanted to do wheel spacers, and when I looked into that, that was really not what we wanted because that's not the best solution. So how do you find the right shop? Here's what we did. We went to to some shops and we talked to the owner. Most of these are small shops. And we found a shop. Mike, the owner, spent over an hour with us, answering all of our questions, talking to us. There was no guarantee he would get the business. He didn't rush us. He gave us what we learned was good information with no guarantee of the business. It meant a lot to us, and we ended up going with his shop, and we've been pleased ever since. The tires, again, we relied on Mike. These are mud terrain. They're Nitto grapplers. They're 37s. And when we put these on Vilan, we noticed a big difference than with the 35s. They allow us to do things we couldn't do before. They're also much more comfortable. We're in our 70s. We don't have the best backs anymore, and we don't have the best knees. And these felt like little pillows. 35s were good too, but these were really great. We love the knobby stuff on them. They get us over stuff that we see that all-terrain tires don't work for some people.
The wheels for 5 of them, because we do have a spare, was $2,020. And the Grappler mud terrain tires were for the 5 tires, $2,425. So far we have for the 3 things, we've spent $4,805.
We did. The beadlock rings were $760. We didn't get beadlocks at first because we weren't sure we wanted them, but after doing more difficult trails, including the Terminator trails here in the Phoenix area, I'll link the video below. We wanted to get below 15 PSI, which is about what we could do with the tires without the beadlock rings. So the beadlock rings are really good because we can get down below 15. We've gone down to about 9 or 8 when we did the Terminator trails. But it also illustrates something. You don't have to do everything at once. We got the beadlock rings many months after we had done the initial build on Vilan because we weren't sure that we wanted them. I think some things you just have to wait on, decide if you want it, so you don't waste your money or maybe buy something inappropriate. Damn, it's hot under here. Whoa, that's hot. Now I know why they have this plastic thing. Okay, so here's another mod we didn't do right away. These are hood vents. They're aluminum hood vents, and they're active hood vents, unlike the plastic hood vents that the vehicle came with, not active. They were passive. No air passes through. We're out in the desert in Phoenix area. It can be 110 degrees, and we just wanted some of the heat to dissipate from the engine. We think that's a good idea. We also like the way they look.
You could also see how you could see right through to the sky.
Right, easy to install.
So just to
All you
show.
had to do, you have to cut away the fire resistant material.
Right.
And this was a great thing.
Right.
And the hood vents,
Oh, they were only $249.
hey, only, good. Well, it's a Jeep. We added the snorkel for 2 reasons, one of which is to prevent dust intrusion into the cabin, which is good, and 2, water crossings. We do a number of water crossings, and we're usually out by ourselves. We're not sure exactly often how deep it is. Sometimes I've been known to walk it, and so the snorkel gives us more clearance for water. We also had the breathing tubes raised to the maximum height, so we can go much higher than a normal Jeep can go as far as water is concerned. And the price on the snorkel?
$750.
So our total so far is?
$7,394.
Let's go to the lights next. These lights are Vision X.
18 plus CG. They're $800. Now we're at $81.94.
We put the lights down here because we really couldn't put them on the A-pillar because of the snorkel. A piece would have had to have been fabricated. I think basically lights are probably better up higher, but these work well. We don't do a lot of night stuff, so this was just some additional lighting that we wanted, and it's good. I want to point out 2 things here, one of which is the winch. We got this from the factory. It's only an 8,000-pound winch. I think normally the minimum winch usually, and I may be wrong, would be 10,000 pounds. So we weren't going to replace it for that. We don't do a lot of recoveries. We have self-recovered a couple times. One other thing we do have, which I want to show you, is that we have a camera. We learned from our first Jeep that it didn't have a camera. We had an aftermarket camera added. It wasn't nearly as good as this one. This is a factory camera. I liken it to the difference between 4K and maybe 720 on our first camera. This just is much easier to see. And again, if you're going to do easy stuff, it's not a big deal, maybe moderate stuff. We do a lot of stuff where we're up high and all we see is sky and hood, and we don't know what's over the top. And it's a trail we haven't run before. And sometimes it's a little difficult to get out because there's a drop off on the passenger side. I asked Fran to get out. And she just basically says, no, you get out. So in any event, we use
I'll
the
take
camera.
the wheel.
Yeah, in any event, we like the camera. It's a great idea. Again, this was a factory camera, so you should think if that's what you want. These are GenRight. They're aluminum bumpers. These are a stubby bumper. We didn't get them powder coated. We didn't want to scratch them. One thing we do not like about the bumper is the recovery point. Because it is not rounded, you can't.
The edge is
The edge is not rounded, so it's really not advisable to put a soft shackle on it. You have to use a bow shackle. We like soft shackles because they're safer and they're just lighter and they're more fun. They're neat. So this is the front bumper and this is the rear bumper. It does increase your departure angle. It does increase your attack angle as well. One other thing, by the way, if you notice the spot right here, that's not wide at all. On our Jeep, as we got his Anvil, came with steel bumpers, and that area was wide, and it often gets a lot of dust, and there's just less area to get dust.
So the front bumper was $855, and the rear bumper was $1,260.
And so
now
far,
we're at $10,309. Next up are the rock sliders. So we have Patriot rock sliders 4x4.
these rock sliders are really good. They're simple. Nothing gets caught in them, unlike the rock sliders we had on our 23, which had steps in them, and all the time we're getting dirt and stuff in there, rocks we had to clean out. These are very simple. They are bolted on for strength. They're easy for us to get into and out of the Jeep, which is really kind of important because one disadvantage of moving up to 37s as opposed to 35s, it's harder to get into. It's
The battery died?
yeah, it executed an emergency return to home.
Oh, well,
Which-
there was no 45 minutes.
Right, wasn't at all.
It was like maybe 15, 20, something like that.
Yeah. Rock sliders,
Okay, those bad boys were 900, and the total right now is 11,209.
we're now going to go to the lift,
The lift.
which is a Metalcloak 3.5-inch game changer lift. Another recommendation from the shop. We didn't know what the right size lift would be. We had 2.5 on our 35. This was 3.5, which we were told is the right number. And the game changer lift has good reviews, $2,275
Yeah.
for the lift.
13,484.
I'm not including labor. These are just
Oh,
parts.
right.
Because the labor was often aggregated, it was hard to break out. So there's certainly going to be a significant amount of labor. To protect the underside of the Jeep, we got Artec aluminum belly skid plates. They're full body skid plates. Here's what they look like in action.
That was 2,400 because we went to full body. So now we're at 17,723. And then you did the shocks. So the Rockport black shocks.
We just went on Mike's advice with these shocks. They have a nice reservoir. And I'll tell you one thing that we do notice. On our 35, we had Fox 2.0 shocks. They were less expensive. I don't remember the price. When we got these shocks on and we started driving, what a world of difference. I mean, the Jeep is much more stable, particularly when it's going side to side. The roll is much less with these shocks. We are so happy with these shocks. We wouldn't get anything else. Much better than the Fox Sport 2.0 shock. And these shocks were
2,100.
the subtotal becomes how much?
Well, so far it's less than 20,000.
That's good news.
It's 19,823.
And again, that's without labor.
And here's a good-looking mod we made with Spirit. Notice the flag.
These are Artec inner fender liners. Again, this was a deferred purchase. We didn't get these originally because we didn't know if we wanted them. I don't even think we knew about them. We built up this Jeep.
We didn't.
This gives us much more articulation, which is a good thing. And also, we did have to get a fender chop. So we had to have the fender flares chopped and cut. And then that meant we had to have different LED lights in front. These lights are from Quake. This cost how much?
2,200.
We get carried away. All right, so where are we at now?
So now we're only at, adding that in, so we're at $22,023. Okay, so our last mod is the most expensive one, the least noticeable mod. Almost you can't even really see it, but it is very, very valuable.
And if you want to talk sticker shock, we're at that point. We did paint protection film, also known as PPF.
Yes.
We PPF'd it because on our first Jeep, we got pinstriped horribly, and it took a lot of work with rubbing compound to get that out. I got tired of doing that, plus some of it didn't come out, and it just wasn't worth it.
7,600.
Is it worth it? Oh yes.
Absolutely.
When we sell it, it will bring a higher price because the body will be in much better shape. So that's something we do recommend, but from a budget standpoint, it's understandable why you would not want to do it. The total that we have spent to date, and I think we're pretty much done,
I think so.
is
$29,623.
well, the good news is it's not 30,000. The bad news is that it's well over 30,000 because we haven't even taken labor. That brings to a close this video. We hope you got value from it. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you learned something. And leave us a comment below if you have any questions or comments. Criticisms are fine too. We would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. Helps the channel grow. And our next video, we won't be doing explaining. We'll be back to exploring. Have a great day. See you in the next one.
Bye.